So just tell us, what do you think about Watchmen? Hit us, get nerd out.
Okay, if you really want to know, I think it's really radical and beautiful.
Yes.
So that's amazing. I have a problem with the way Asian people are treated in this
Ooh.
story.
Oh, there's Viets.
Yeah.
So,
51st
just a quick
Day.
background. Again, I'm not spoiling the thing. Watchmen, the HBO version is...
It focuses a lot more on race.
It's an alternate universe, and it's 30 years after the comic books. So basically, Robert Redford is president. He's president for 30... So Watergate never happened. Nixon keeps on being president. Robert Redford wins the next election. He's president for 30 years, and he's a Democrat. So what happens... It's a story about, like, what happens in this world where the left kind of gets a lot of things that they are talking about how they want it, right? So... everybody has electric cars.
Yeah.
Right? There are reparations for black people.
Yeah.
But there's an equal reaction to that. So what happens when the left keeps getting what they want? Well, you get the fucking revival of the KKK.
Yeah.
Now they go by this name called 7th Cavalry with a K. It's just a new form of the KKK.
Right.
And now you got this thing where like the police are interrogating people for being racist. That's like a crime now. You know, so it's like, what do
It
you
should be a crime.
right? but it's like, and I think that's totally fine, but you never think about like, what do you think happens on the other side when the liberals get what they want? And it's very honest about that world. So that's kind of like the world that we're kind of playing with.
Yeah.
And Vietnam comes into play because America wins the Vietnam War. Vietnam becomes the 51st state. And so there's a lot of Vietnamese people living in America and vice versa. In fact, our main character, who's a black female cop, grew up in Vietnam.
Woo, man, pho must be so good in this universe.
So what's your issue with the way Asian people are?
So, just to be really clear, I really love this show. I love the treatment of the Tulsa massacre. I also really like the fact that African Americans can get this information in a really wonderful way.
Yeah.
The story is done. The timeline is really interesting. So all that is check, A+. But the way they treat Vietnam, I'm giving them a D-.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I didn't really get it because
I haven't seen this episode. I don't mind if you spoil it. I don't give a shit.
Are you talking about that scene where they have like a restaurant called Burgers and Borscht?
Oh, no, that's the least of it. No, I just want to get, just statistically speaking, it makes no sense. So we're talking about a race war between blacks and whites in this television show.
Yeah.
And it's all based on this long ago historical massacre. I get that. And again, this whole premise that if the liberals get what they want, like reparations, what will happen? That doesn't make any sense at all if you think about this one thing. If Vietnam War is technically won, whatever that means. Whatever the fuck that means. And it really annoys me because they have this blue god coming and killing all those people, right?
Dr. Manhattan. Shouts.
Yeah.
Huge penis.
With his... Right. So
she went to Harvard.
Yeah.
So what you have is this blue god who essentially, quote unquote, wins the Vietnam War.
Right.
Vietnam becomes a 51st state. Now, let's just think about this. And it's supposed to be 2019.
Yeah.
If there's 96 million Vietnamese and they are now a state of the United States, that's the 51st state. The current U.S. population is 327 people, okay? I just add another 100 to it.
Yeah.
That means that the Asian population, which is currently 5%, right? And
now you're at 25%.
The racial imbalance would actually not be between blacks and whites. It's actually between whites, who used to be 65%, and they would diminish dramatically. And then it would be the Vietnamese and Asian population would be almost 26%.
Oh,
yo.
Would we really be afraid of African Americans?
This is why we don't incorporate Puerto Rico as a new state.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We kind of strip away all their voting powers.
We don't talk about it in the show right now, but if you really think about it, you would have over 96 million Vietnamese that you'd have to contend with, plus the 5% of Asian Americans in this country. So the racial balance that you'd be really afraid of is actually Asians, not African Americans.
Oh, shit.
Welcome to my country.
Yeah.
What are you guys doing here?
Yes, and then